There we go. Now, we went over a little bit of z-scores the other day, but this one says, suppose babies born after a gestation period of 32 to 35 weeks have a mean weight of 3,000 grams, all right? So you take your highlighter, and the first thing you highlight is 3,000 grams, because that's the what? Mean. And then you take another highlighter, and you highlight what? The standard deviation. While babies born after a gestation period of 40 weeks have a highlight mean weight of 3,300 grams and a standard deviation of 420 grams. All right, so first of all, you're going to have to draw two bell curves. So go ahead and do that. Did anybody do what I told them and made copies of your tape? No, nobody.
I'm going to.
You going to? Yeah, I believe it when I see it.
You'll see it next
I
time.
had one person out of 30 do it last semester in 120. One person out of 30. And everybody, what were they doing around her? Complaining about having to draw them. Live PD. All right. Suppose baby's born after gestation period. Boom. That's one. And then down there it says, while baby's born after a gestation period of 40 weeks. Boom. That's two. So you got 32 to 35 weeks. That's A, if you want to call it Group A. And then Group B would be 40 weeks. So draw two bell curves. Now there's a reason I want you to draw a bell curve, but go ahead, there's a reason. So I'll go ahead and pull up my handy dandy whiteboard, and I do want to pull that email up, but I'll pull it up at the end of class so that way somebody can't complain about it. We didn't talk about class, we talked about an email. So 32 3,000 and 3,700 and what, 4,400 and 2,300 and what's 2,300 minus dang old 1,600? Somebody check my math. And then over here, we got the 40-week period and 3275. I need somebody, calculator drill team. 3275 plus what? I'm sorry, I messed up. 3,300. I read the wrong one. 3,300. 3,720. 3,720 be 4,140. Somebody check my math. 3,300. 2,880. 2,460. Somebody check my math. Say again? Of course I am. All right, now this is A. That was supposed to be a joke. Y'all don't laugh. So anyway, that's supposed to be B. So A and B, Group A and Group B. Well, you see it right here. It goes, if a 35-week gestation period baby. If a 35-week baby weighs 3275. So I'm going to take my red dot, 3275. Boop. Right in there. And a 40-week weighs 3575. 3575. Boop. Find the corresponding z-values. What can you tell me about the two babies? Blah, blah, blah. All right? So we need to make a z-score for this baby at 3275. Oops, wrong color. Do it over here. This is 35.75. And this is 32.75. All right, so I want everybody to do a z-score for the red and do a z-score for the blue. So calculate that z-score using our formula that we learned last week. Z is equal to x minus x bar over what? Standard deviation. Let's go ahead and do that. If you can't do it, just chalk it up as what? Failure, Hubert. Yes, that's right, class. Do I want a worm? And just get it out of there. Somebody say I drugged you or put something in it, I give it to you. So
Here we go.
thank you. So for the red, or Z, sorry, is equal to 32.75 minus 3,000 over 700. Well, I'm not no genius, but $32.75 minus $30 is $2.75. So that's 275 divided by 700. And you can pretty much divide $2.75. Ain't that 11 quarters? And $7. How many quarters are in $7? That'd be 7 times 4, which is what? 28. And 12 divided by 28 is equal to 6 over 14, which is equal to 3 over 7. And 7 will go into 3, 4.43. I got around 0.43. What'd y'all get? I'm sorry, what?
0.39.
Okay, so we got a z-score of 0.39 right here. I got 0.43 because I did what? What's that called right there? Dang old approximate, dang old estimate, did in my head. All right, so you need to write that down so you don't get confused. All right, now the blue. That way I don't dang old have Alzheimer's in the future. Dang old using my head now so I don't use dang old drool all over myself. Z for the blue is going to be 35.75 minus 3,300 over 420. So that's $35.75 minus $33 is going to be what? $1.25? Somebody help me out. $1.25, not $1.25, Hubert. Oh, $1.25 over 420. Well, 5 will go into 12 2 times, and then 5.
I got 275.
I got 275.
So did 125.
Okay, 15 minutes later, thank you. To what?
75.
Y'all think y'all might want to hurry it up next time, since y'all do have the calculators? No, you wait until I got to the end of the question, and then you can say, oh yeah, I thought that was wrong. Whatever.
Check it like 3 times.
Speak up, people. All right, 275, let me do that again. Okay, 5 will go in there 5 times 55, and then 5 will go in there 80 times 85, and then 11 over, what, 117. Trying to figure out how to estimate that without a lot of work, because 10 don't work, 12 don't work, so 11 and 7, that just don't work. So what'd you come out with? I'm not even going to try to estimate it. 11 over 17, what'd you come out? Point what? 65. So this one, 0.65, is going to be right in there. Well, Hubert, that don't tell us nothing. No, because you haven't done it on a z-scale yet. Okay, you've done the calculations. Now you got to compare apples and oranges. Take a green marker. Dang old, draw a green curve, and this is going to be your z-curve, or your z-scale. And that's going to be 0, 1, 2, -1, -2. The blue mark is 0.65. It's out here. 0.65 is right there. The red mark is 0.39. 0.39 is down here. So which one's further out? The blue score is further out, Hubert. Thank you, class. It's further, so that means it's more ER. Okay? Now, I don't know what the question's asking, but that's what I am getting from this question. So, what do? Well, you read and try to figure out what the Philadelphia lawyer wants you to figure out. Because he wrote the daggum question, so we've got to figure out what he or she wants. Find the corresponding z-scores. Which baby weighs relatively more? So we know it's 40, what is it called, 40 weeks? Yep. All right, so it's going to be, not this one, whatever. Okay, it's not going to be this one. It's not going to be this one, because it's going to be, the 40 weighs relatively more. So since this z-score is blank, it's smaller than the z-score, so it's going to be larger. So I think it's going to be this one right here, because the blue one is not smaller. So it's got to be B, and then you plug the answers in. Now see, as you can see, the math is not that hard. What is the problem with students getting this wrong? They don't know what. They don't know what they're doing. You got to have a method. First method is to draw it. Now you don't have to draw it, but I'm just trying to show you you don't have to draw the two black graphs right there, but I'm just showing you that by the black graphs, they're about what? They're about the same. But you can't compare them on the same scale like that, because this one is 32 to 35 and this one is 40. So you can't compare the two on their individual scales. So what you have to do is make a z-scale. So then you have to calculate the z-scores. And this z-score 0.65. Y'all check, make sure I'm punching in the right numbers. Is 0.39, and we feel good about ourselves. All right, now y'all try this one. In a certain city, the average 20 to 29-year-old man is 72.5 inches tall. Blah, 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 blah. while the average 20 to 29-year-old woman is 65 inches tall, blah, 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 blah. Who is relatively taller? This is just like LBJ versus Shaq. Why do you say that? Well, because men are going to be a small fish in a big pond, whereas a woman is going to be a big fish in a what? Small pond. Vice versa, whichever is correct. It's been a wild party. Only got half the class here at Anderson. It's been a rough weekend. All that rain, really. We were supposed to have monsoon, and it didn't rain half of what they said it was going to do. It's the Russians' fault. So calculate the z-scores and then put them on a z-scale and see which one's which. Make sure you read your question right and don't mess up like I was fixing to do. Make sure I plugged and chugged correctly because I did write the question a little bit different from the last one. Yeah. All right, so what is 75 inches minus 72.5 or $75 minus $72.5? What is it? 2.5 divided by 3. So if I want to divide $2.50 into 3 groups, what would it be? I'm sorry, what?
0.83.
Okay. So there's your z-score for that group. Your z-score for this group, well, $70 minus, that's going to be $5 and what? 5 cents or 50 cents over 3.9. Calculator drill team, what you get?
1.41.
1.41. So we take our handy dandy green marker. Zero, 1, 2, -1, -2. We plot the red dot at 0.83. plot the red dot, blue dot at 1.41. So that means that the woman is more ER than the man. So in this case, it's going to be taller. So we just got to figure out which one it is with the Philadelphia lawyer. So the z-score for the man, blank, blank, is larger than the z-score for the woman, so he is relatively taller. I think that's it. So we're going to put in, I'm sorry, the woman. Sorry, I'm looking for the woman. The z-score for the woman is smaller. No, the z-score for the woman is larger, so it's going to be C. Sorry. So I'm going to pick C, and I'm going to plug in 1.41 and 0.83. Correct? And we feel good about ourselves. All right, try that one. And we're going to do two more of these because these are the ones that everybody screws up on. Okay, so I always do at least 3 or 4. So you can just get used to it. Because one year, Ted has the lowest ERA of any pitcher in his school with an ERA of 2.85. Also, Karen had the lowest ERA of any female pitcher at school with an ERA of 3.22. For the males, the ERA was mean of blah, 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 and the ERA, okay, there's the mean and standard deviation. Which player had the better ER, there's your ER right there, relative to their peers? Okay, what does it say right here, though? The lower the ERA, the what?
Better.
When you see a note like that, that usually means that the further you are, the more ER, it's backwards. You turn it around when they give you a note. Okay? Because that note means that what you do with the relatively taller and the relatively, were both of those last ones tall? What were those last two questions? One of them was tall. What was the other one? Was it taller too?
Smaller.
What?
Smaller or larger.
Okay. Well, they didn't have a note with them. If they don't have a note, the furthest one away from 0 is the more ER. This one has a note, so you might have to go in reverse there. But we'll see when we do the math. So do the math, plot it on the Z table, and then come up with the answer. Okay, so the guy had 2.85. And the average for the males was 4 point what? And that's over 0.972. All right, somebody give me that and give me like 4 digits. What'd you get?
1.499.
Negative? Should be negative. Yeah. Negative what?
Negative 1.4989.
1.4989?
Yes.
Okay. And now we'll do the blue. was what? What's her name? Karen? Oh. Jeez. Shut up, Hubert. 3.22 minus, I'm looking for the woman, 4.515, 0.634. And what is that C-score going to be?
Negative 2.0425.
Point what?
0.425.
0.25?
0.425.
4. Hey, I knew there was another one in there. Okay. So, now, I knew the answer before I even read this question. How did I know the answer? Don't. Anyway, so negative 2.05. So you're going to draw your table. Halfway draw it. And we're going to plot the red, negative 1.49. And the blue, negative 2.04. In this case, it does work out the same as always because it just worked out. So who is the winner? Who? Karen's the winner, of course. Okay? So now you just type in the scores. So that's going to be what? Negative 1, what does it say? Rounded to decimal. 1.5. And this one's going to be, I better put a 0 there. It might mark it wrong. Negative 2.04. Which player had a better year? Karen had a better year. That question was funny. I'll tell you the two reasons I was making remarks. Not because I'm a male chauvinist pig or anything. But when I was in high school and college, you would do a problem like this with a male and female, and one would come out, the male would win. The second one would come out, the female would win. Not now. You can pretty much predict any male-female question there is. I don't care if it's baking a cake or skinning a fish or whatever. The woman's going to come out the winner on every single question, just about every single time. I've seen these questions, every single one of them. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. The second reason is since I've been divorced, every single one of my dadgum questions that come out, the dadgum girl's name is Carrie. Every single time. I don't know if that's a omen or what. But anyway,
Could be.
Huh?
It could be.
I don't know. Dang old haunting. Dang old scary movie. All right. A highly selective boarding school only will admit students who place, I think we did this one, but this is the question that people miss because it don't have much numbers in it. And buddy, when this causes a meltdown. Why does it cause a meltdown? That means I want y'all to answer the question. That's not rhetorical. Why does this cause a meltdown? Because. I heard because. That's real good. It's kind of like Beautiful Mind when, what is trust? And the guy goes, trust is life. Oh, that's really good. Robin Williams, psychology class. Easily, are y'all still there? Yeah, they're there. They're moving. Okay. I didn't know if they had cardboard boxes standing up, the cardboard life silhouettes. Nobody talks in this class. All right, why is this one called meltdowns?
Standard deviation?
Nope, you're wrong. Leave.
Okay.
No.
Maybe because I don't automatically think to draw the thing or the curve.
What do you notice about the question without even reading it? Compared to the last three that we did? Huh? I love the way y'all talk. What?
It doesn't ask which one's better.
Okay, it's not as what? It's not as long. One. It's not as long. That means it doesn't have as many what in it? Numbers. Doesn't have many numbers. And what are you used to working with the last three questions? A lot of numbers. So that means a lot of what? Calculations. You come to this problem and you go, I don't know what to do. That's what you say. And that's why this one, when you see this one on a test, people either skip it or they have no idea how to do it. First of all, you draw a picture. That's the first thing you do. So do that. A highly selective boarding school will only admit students who place at least 2 standard deviations above the mean on a standardized test that has a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 26. Highlight that. That means put up of it. Draw a picture. Whenever you see mean and standard deviation together like that, they want you to draw a picture. Somehow, some form. So you're going to draw a picture. And then it says, what is the minimum score that an applicant must make on the test to be accepted? Okay, now this is where you're using a little bit of the empirical rule. They're not really asking for it says 2 standard deviations. I don't think it's asking for a z-score, but it may. No, I don't think so. All you got to do is just draw it out using the empirical rule or mean and standard deviation. So, mean is 100, 126, 152. Negative, what, 74? I'm sorry. Positive 74 and positive what? 48? Thank you. So, says if you want to get into the school, you have to be able at least above, there's a key word right there, above the mean. So 1, 2. So these people right here that I'm shading in right here, those are the people above what? That scored above 152 can be in this school. So somebody tell me by the empirical rule, what's the percentage there? 2.5%. So if you're talking about 1,000 students, how many students out of 1,000 are going to be able to go to that school? How many? 25, or whatever the case may be. 0.025. Yep. So make sure you know how to do that one. That's the second time we've done a problem like that. So I don't want to hear, I don't know how to do it, because I think we did that one before we even did z-scores. I'm just looking for any of the ones in this section that may throw you off. I don't think there's going to be any more in this section. Manufacturer bolts, we did that one in class. Okay, I'm going to go over this one. The reason I'm going to go over it, it looks confusing just looking at it. All right? Okay, what is the first? It says explain the what? Explain the what? Meaning. When you see explain the meaning, that means it can be kind of open, okay? In other words, it's not mathematical. You're going to explain something. That means you're going to interpret something, okay? The 10th percentile of head circumferences of males from 3 to 5 months of age in a certain city is 41 centimeters. Okay, the 10th percentile. The 90th percentile of the waist circumference of females 2 years of age in a certain city is 49.8%, or 49.8 centimeters. All right, let's just forget about C right now, because that starts with a word that we can't pronounce and we don't want to worry about it. So, A and B, what does that mean? Well, draw a picture. You don't have to, but you can. Draw a picture, and you've got the 10th percentile. Well, remember our empirical rule? We read it like a what? Like a fuel gauge. What percent is this right here? 50 percentile. This one is what? Around here is about around 25 percentile. It's really around here. 25 percentile. Around here is 75 percentile. We know this is full, which is 100%. And we know this is what? 0%, which is E. Okay, so let's talk about, if this is 0% and this is 2.5 and this is 13.5, somebody add 2.5 and 13.5 up, what do you get? 16, right? So up to this point is 16%. Everybody agree with that? Okay, 16% is up to that point, using the empirical rule. Now, we know this is 13.5%, right? So what's half of 13.5? How about 6? 6.75. So would you say that half of this is 6.75? Okay, if half of this is 6.75 and this is 2.5, what's 6.5 and 2.5? Roundabout. 9%, right? So 9% falls right in here. So 10% would be where? A little bit to the right of that, Hubert. That's right. So I'm going to put 10% right here. So tell me what that 10% means. Somebody explain to me what that 10% means, just in words.
Head circumference is
41 centimeters, yeah. But what does it mean as far as percentile to the whole group? What does it mean? They're asking you to look at the word 10th percentile. What does 10th percentile mean? This makes up the lower what? 10% of the population. So what's to the right of that red line? The upper what? What kind of percentile? The 90th. Okay, the 90% is on the right, the 10% is on the left. So this red line right here represents the 10th what? Percentile. That's what that means. So you would say people to the left of the 10th percentile is less than 41 meters or whatever, 41 centimeters. Something to that effect. So read the four things and tell me what it says. Well, 90% of 3 to 5 months have head circumference that is 41 or less. Yes or no? That's not rhetorical. You got a 50-50 shot. No, because that's wrong. 10% of the males have a head circumference that is 41 centimeters or less. True or false? No, it says 3 to 5 months, doesn't it? Okay, so this one is just wrong mathematically. This one is wrong because it generalizes what? All male. So it's got to be one of these last two. because we are referring to what? Males 3 to 5 months. So it can only be C or D. That's where they get you. Well, some of y'all said, yeah, that's right. They got you. They got you because that was a generalization. So 10% of the males have a head that is less, 10% more. Which one is it? It's less. And that's what I was trying to show you by filling in this area right here. All right, now you do B if you hadn't done it already. And if you can't do it, just hang your head in shame and leave the classroom. Okay? This is a rough group, I tell you. I've never had one this quiet. Must be something I've said. The only time to speak to me is when you gotta go to the bathroom. So draw a picture. We'll do this one in blue. Let me go ahead and answer this question. There we go. All right, now, it says that 90% of girls that are 2 years old in a certain city is 49.8 centimeters. So somebody tell me where 90% is. Well, here's 75, but we don't have 75 there. Let's count up the empirical rule. 2.5, let me go to blue. 2.5, 13.5, 34, and 34. Now we know that 75% is somewhere in here. So somebody add up these four numbers and tell me if you get like 81% or something. What do you get?
Right.
84%. Okay? So this is 84 and this is 50. Everybody agree with that? Okay, so let's think. What's the difference between 50 and 84? 34. Half of 34 is what? 17. So 17 plus 50 is what? 67, Hubert. Okay. So that means I've got, let me make sure I did that right. Half of 34, yeah, 17. Okay. Yeah, 17. All right, now, half of 17 is what? 8. So 8, what's 8 plus 67? 75. And what are we looking for? Are we looking for 90 or 75? Which one are we looking for? 90, sorry, I went the wrong way. My bad. Okay, 84, and what's this next one right here? What's 84 plus 13.5? You don't have to worry about the 0.5. What is that, 97? All right, now, 84 to 97 is 13, right? What's half of 13? 6.5. So we'll just say 7. So that's 91% right here. So where is 90%? To the left. Good. So I'm going to put a big line right here, and I'm going to put a arrow right there, and I'm going to say 90%. Okay? So that means that 90% of the population is falling where? Right there. Why, Hubert? Because which way do we read the gas hand? Left to right. So if you have this much gas in your tank, it doesn't mean you're empty, does it? Thank you. Thank you for the interaction. Whoever said that, thank you so much. You're going to make an A in the class. The rest of y'all can fail because y'all won't talk to me. All right. Now, so that means that 10% is on what side? The side right here. All right. Go down to your definition. Choose the correct answer. You know it's not 10% because you're dealing with a full tank of what? Gas. So it's not that one. 90% of 2-year-old females have a waist blah, blah, blah that is 49.8 or less. 90% of females and 90% of 2-year-old males have a waist circumference that is 49 or more. So you can cancel this one out because that's a generalization. And that leaves A or C. Which one is it? Remember, you almost got a full tank. Alpha or Charlie? A. Why? Where's all the blue marks? To the left. So that means less. See, some of y'all are already trying to break that anvil with that banana. Some of y'all were trying to get it wrong. Look there. I don't need smokestacks on my truck. All right. Now, I have no idea what anthropometry is. Somebody Google it. I have no idea. Okay. Measurement of the human body. So let's see what it says about the measurement of the human body. One goal of these measurements is to assess how body measurements may be changing over time. The following table represents the standing height of males aged 20 years or older of various age groups in a certain city in 2015. Based on the percentile measurements of the different age groups, what might you conclude? So that means you click on the table. I'm going to pull this up where y'all can see it. Well, I thought it was going to move, but evidently it's not going to move. I want you to look at it. Age 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, blah, blah, blah. This is about the most complicated way in the world to ask the question. You know what people do that suck at teaching? You know what they do? They do two things in life. They write books and they become administrators.
That's true.
It's true.
They can't teach no more.
They can't teach no more. Some of them teach it. I know a couple of teachers, they needed to start pumping gas when they got out of Clemson. And they didn't. They didn't teach. They taught 1 year. And they ended up being an administrator.
What did he answer?
Oh, I don't know yet. I'm just wanting everybody to look at it because you got to really think about it. Okay, 166, 171, 176, 181, and 186. I want you to look at the 90th percentile. The 90th percentile, 186, 182, 186, 185, 183. What the heck's happening? They're shrinking. Okay, so circle the 90th percentile, and let's look at the 10th percentile. 166, 166, 167, 166, 165, 163. Huh?
They're still shrinking.
They're still shrinking, but look at the 166. You can't.
Yeah.
That started short, then it went up. So is there really a big difference on the 10%? No. So you can say that the height is decreasing. Let's look at the 75th percentile. 181, 181, 182, 181. Oh, that 182, 181, that screws up everything. I don't know. Maybe you could say that the 90th percentile is shrinking or something to that effect, but you don't see much of a difference except for the 90th percentile is shrinking. But let's look at it. I want to bring it up here. Let's see. At each percentile, the height generally Decreases? Yeah. I would say decrease. As the age increases. Assuming that adult men are not grow after 20 years, the percentile implied that adults born in 1990 are generally, well, let's look back. 1990, let's see, what did they say up here? I'll make sure they didn't say, okay. 1990. I don't see where they come up with 1990. I was looking for 1990 up here. Following represents standing height, males, age of 20 years of it. Okay, 2015. Yeah, you'd have to calculate back. 1990 would be what? 90 to 2000 is 10, and then 25. So 25 years of age. Let's look at 25 years of age. Right in here. Let's see, 166. Yeah. Yeah. Because they're all, look at each one, they're taller than this one right here. A little bit, except for that one right there. I say he's generally taller. Okay, let me tell you if this is a good question for test questions. Hail to the no. All right, A and B are both good questions. Those are good questions. This chart is ridiculous. Nobody could read that chart the way it's written. So if I was to give you a question off of this one, it would be more like one A and B. It would not be like C. C sucks. Okay? So just make a note of that one. There's the question I would put on the test right there. The 5th percentile of weights of males, 36 of age, in a certain city is 13 grams. This is the kind of question I would give you, 3.416. So make a note of that one. I'm not going to do it because we just did it. So the 95th percentile of length of newborn babies in a certain city is 54.3. And then explain both of those. Well, the 5th percentile means that 36 months males is going to be less than what? 13. So which one is that one? This one right here. Thanks. And this one, 95% is going to weigh less than 54. Why ain't it going to the next problem?
Yep, press continue.
Oh, I have to hit continue? Yeah. 95% less. 95% newborn males have less. I see less right here. But that's newborn. Let's see what it says. 95% of newborn females. So that'd be newborn females. 54%. How about D as in Delta? We feel good about ourselves. That's a test question. Okay, I haven't got to quartiles yet, but that's a good thing for me to cover today. I'll be glad to cover them. First of all, well, this one don't even have violent, the following is a summary of the violent crimes per person of state, complete parts A through D. Okay, I'm going to explain what quartiles are first before we go into this question. Okay, so what I want you to do is I'm going to the spreadsheet, and I'm going to put some numbers on the board, and I'm going to tell you what the quartiles are and what the 5-number summary is and all that trash. All right, so let me put 12 numbers down here. Let's go with 13, make it easier to find the median. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so write those numbers down. Now, do not find the mean, median, and mode and all that because we're going to do something different. We're going to find the mean. We're going to find the first quartile. We're going to find the second quartile. We're going to find the third quartile. And we're going to find the max. We're going to kill two birds with one stone on this question. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's your parents' fault. Okay? Now I'm going to calculate the mean. Y'all ready? There it is. I calculated it for y'all. The mean is the what? The lowest number. Now I'm going to calculate the max for y'all. If the mean is the lowest number, what do you think the max is? I can't do nothing with y'all. There you go. That was tough, wasn't it? Now, I'm going to calculate the second quartile for you. Wow. That was quick, Hubert. Yep, it was. It's phenomenal, wasn't it? What is the second quartile? Median. It's also called, well, let me just go ahead and show you this because you already know this from drawing it and comparing it to a what? A gas tank. Remember, this side is empty. It represents 0%. This side is full. It represents 100%. What did the median represent? Or the mean? Right in here, if it's good data, the median and the mean are going to match. Okay? And that represents the 50th percentile. So you can also call the second quartile the what? The 50th percentile. Then what would the first quartile be called? Not the 50th percentile, but what? 25th percentile. Good. I'm proud of y'all. Y'all thinking. So I'm going to put 25th percentile. Oops. Percentile. And 75th percentile. So there's your 3 percentiles. Now how do I find this one right here? Well, this one right here, I told you, this one is the what? It's the median, so it's right here. Somebody count, how many numbers are above 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means I've got to take the what of those two numbers right there? The average, so I can find the median of the median, because that's what I'm finding, the median of the median. And I'm trying to find a color to put there. There we go. And right here, so the first quartile is equal to, parentheses, 3 plus what? 4 divided by what? There we go. So if the first quartile is the median of the top side, then what's the third quartile? The median of the top side, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means the middle two here. And we're going to color those aqua. What are you talking about? 4 to 10. Now you got to count the numbers above the second quartile. How many numbers are above the second quartile? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To find the median, when the n is 6, you've got to do what? Average two middle terms. That's why it's important for you to count them. Because if you don't count them, you're going to think, well, why don't you just take the middle? You can't do that. You can if there's 7 above or 7 below. You can. We're going to do that in just a second. All right. So this one's going to be aqua. And that's equal to parentheses 10 plus 11 divided by 2. And there is your 5-number summary. Now, what in the heck do you do with the 5-number summary? Well, that's what I'm fixing to show you. Let me color this gray, all of gray. There we go. Okay. All right. What do you do with the 5-number summary? Well, first thing you do is you draw a number line. Draw a number line, and that number line is going to be made up of 3 things. So you need to write this down. Here's the number line. Got an N there, and an N there. It's going to be made up of your min, your max, and your midpoint, or mid-range. Somebody figure out the mid-range of these numbers. Okay, 13 plus 1 is what? 7. Half of 7 is what? I'm sorry. 13 and 1 is 14. Half of 14 is what? 7. So 7 goes in the middle. 1 goes here. And 13, what's the max? 13? Okay. Now I got to find the mid-range of the mid-range of the mid-range. I got to keep finding them until I graduate this number line so I can put something on it. Right now I got 1, 7, and 13. That's not good. I got to get some more graduations. So what's 1 plus 7? 8 divided by 2? What's 7 plus 13? 20 divided by 2? What's 1 plus 4? 5 divided by 2? 4 plus 7? 11, half of 11? 7 plus 10? 17, half of 17? 8.5? 10 plus 13 is 23, 11.5. And that's enough. So I'm done. I'm done with my number line. Now I concentrate on these 3 guys. Okay, 3.5. I'm going to put a, let's see, I'm going to use red. 3.5 would be somewhere in here. 10.5 would be somewhere in here. And 7, of course, since my data is pretty valid, there's my, and that's what we call a what? A box plot. Now, you need to make sure you understand what I just did. Okay? So, what did I just do? Well, first of all, you got to find the median up here. You got to get these 5 numbers. The min and the max is pretty simple. If you mess up the min and the max, you don't what? You don't tell anybody. Okay? Keep that a secret because that's pretty hard to screw that up. All right? The min is not calculable. It's right there at the top. The max is down there at the bottom. So, and then how do you find? Well, you count. All right? How many do we have? 1 to 13. What is 1 to 13? How many numbers do we have? 13. 13 is odd. So how do you find the median of an odd amount? You just find the what? The middle, which is 7. So that's how I got the 7. Now, I count the numbers above the median. How many numbers do I have above the median? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. N is equal to 6. How do I find the median of 6 numbers? Average the middle what? Middle 2. So I averaged these 2 right here. Okay? Same thing down here. How many numbers are above the median? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I average those 2. And that's how I find these 3 numbers right here. And those 3 numbers represent the left side of your box plot the right side of the box plot and the middle of the box plot. Now you're going to be asked to do this on a test. Okay, so make sure you understand. Now, I want to do another problem, and this time I want to add 1 to it, and instead of having 13 to begin with, we're going to have 14 to begin with, and you have to be careful with this one because you might mess it up. So I'm going to just add 14. I'm going to clear the whole shebang. And let me just do this, make life easier. There. And here, I'm going to go down, and I'm going to put a 14 right here. I know it's redundant, but the whole point is I'm trying to save time and teach y'all most amount of material in a short amount of time. All right, so I want to find the min. Well, that's pretty simple. Min is going to be that number right there. So like I say, if you mess that up, don't tell anybody. There. So that's equal to 1. Down here, we'll make this dang old green. And that's going to be that number right there, 14. Okay, now you find the median. Median, and it's also called the 50th percentile. We're going to try pink, but that's more of a mauve, so we'll go with mauve. Well, we got 14 numbers, so we're going to have to add the middle 2 together and divide by what? 2. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's our 2 numbers. Dang old mauve. Dang old calculator. Parentheses. 7 plus 8 divided by what? Now, where is that number? It's in the middle of what? It's in the middle of 7 and what?
8.
Okay, so I want you to take a mark, and I want you to put a dot right here. Because that mark represents that median. Now I want you to count the number above the median. How many do you get? How many numbers are above the median? Well, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what? 7. Hey, that's good. Why is 7 good? You just take the middle what? Middle term. Let's count the bottom. How many are on the bottom? 1, 2, let me do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boom. So now we've got, that's why you have to be careful when you do this one, because if you don't put that little dot there, you're going to forget that the median is between them, and you're going to count above 7. And then you're going to get it wrong. So that's why it's important to count and put that dot there. So here we go. So all we got to do now is just color the, well, if I can get the whiteboard to work. All right, so we're going to color this guy grayish. And this guy is grayish. Equals right there. And then we'll color this guy orange, or whatever color that is, orange. And that's equal to guy, and he's orange. All right, now I want you to draw a number line. And I want you to graduate it, at least 5 or 6 graduations. And draw a box plot. And if you can't, just consider it a failure in life. So, what goes to the left? Left side would be what? 1. Right side would be 14. What's 14 plus 1? 15 divided by 2. 7.5. Okay? 1 plus 7.5 is 8.5. What's 8.5 divided by 2? 7.5 plus 14 is 21.5. What's half of 21.5? Huh?
10.75.
10.75. And now you can go 5. What's half of 5? 2.5? Yeah, it don't matter. At this point, 2.5 is fine. You don't have to worry about the hundreds. You don't have to worry about that. Just round it to whatever you want to. 4 plus 7 is 11. Half of 11 is 5.5. 7.5, okay, you could say this is 18 pretty much. 10 plus 7, and then you got that, so that's 18. Half 18 is what? Or, I'm sorry, 10 plus 7, that's 18. Half of 18 is what? 9? And then 10 plus, that'd be 24. Half of 24 or half of 25 is 12.5 or 12. Do what you want. There. Now I've graduated the number line. Now what do? I put my box plot up, Hubert. Yes, that's right, class. Thank you for the interaction. 4 would be right in here. 11 would be right in here. And then 7.5 would be right in here. Now let me ask y'all a question. Is it always going to fall right directly in the middle and same distance on each side? No. No, it's not. Okay? When you do this, sometimes it's going to look like this, which means a normal what? A normal curve. Sometimes it's going to look like this, which means skewed what? Skewed right. Sometimes it's going to look like what? this, which means what? Skewed left. The skewed right, you're going to have the box over here, and you're going to have a center right there, and the center of the midpoint's right there. So all of your data is on this side. So therefore, it's skewed right. This one, if you had it'd have a box over here, and you'd have a middle right there, or a median, but the midpoint is right here. So all of your data is on the right, which means it's skewed left. Okay? So with this, let's go back to the question, and I don't have any idea what the question is asking because they haven't given us any information, so I'm anxious to see what they're asking, considering they haven't given us anything. Hold on a second. There we go. All right. Well, I'm getting there eventually. There we go. Violent crimes include rape, robbery, assault, and homicide. The following is a summary of the violent crime rate, blah, 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 of 100,000 people of all states of country in certain year. Complete parts A through D. Okay, 25% of states provide an interpretation of these results. 25% of the states' crime rate is 271.8 crimes per. Okay, so that's first quartile. So that means 271. Okay, that means 25% is what that means. So it's not this one. It's not B. It's either A or C. So now you got to read it. 25% of the states have violent crime rate. That is 271.8 crimes per 10,000 population, or less. 50% of the states have a violent crime that is 388. Okay, 388. That's right there, 50%. 75% of the states have a violent crime that is 528 crimes per population or less. So that looks good. 25% of the states have a violent crime rate that is 255 or more. No. I think it's A. Okay? I don't like that question. It's confusing. Let's see what it says next. Determine and interpret the interquartile range. The interquartile range is, now you need to look up. Now I'm just going to save time from having to go to the book, go to view an example. Let me show you, because you take the quartiles and you subtract them. I'm going to show you as soon as I get there. There. Write that down. The interquartile range is your third quartile minus your first quartile. How important is this? It's not. Okay? As far as this class, it's not important. As far as a standardized test, it is. So that's why I'm worried about it. So I need you to write down interquartile range is your third one minus your first one. So somebody take 528.3 and minus 271.8 and tell me what you get.
256.5.
I'm sorry, what?
256.5.
All right, so you punch that in there. 256.5. Next, they're going to probably ask you the next one, which is the. Okay. So the interquartile range, if you take the third and you minus the second, that would basically put you kind of, in the middle, but let's see, that would be the third minus the first. Okay. Third minus the first would probably put you around 50%. Should be, but it didn't. It says about 256. The middle of all observations the middle 50% of all observations have a range of 116 per population. The middle 25% of all observations have a range of 256 crimes per 100,000. The middle 50% of all observations have a range of, I would go with C, probably. That's what I would go with, but I could be wrong. It's one of those questions I don't like. Yep, it's C. Violent crime rate in a certain state of the country is that year was 1679. Okay, what the violent crime rate in a certain state of the country in that year was 1679. Would this be an outlier? Okay, look at the numbers. Yes, I believe it would be, but there is a way that you can find out. It's got to be outside the interquartile range. Let me go to it and show you. Instead of going into the book, I'm just going to show you. There it is. Write that down. The lower fence is your first quartile minus 1.5 times the interquartile range. Your upper fence is your third quartile plus 1.5 interquartile range. So you're going to set your lower boundary and your upper boundary. So go ahead and do that. What's your upper boundary? Well, your first one is 271.8 minus 1.5 times, and what was the interquartile range? $256, right? Go ahead and do it. Let me write it up here. Well, where did my whiteboard go? Damn, brushes. All right. So I'm going to take 274.8 or 271.8, and I'm going to subtract 1.5 times, what was our interquartile range? 256. I heard 256. 2.5. And somebody tell me what that number is. 271.8 minus whatever that number is right there. Well, 1.5 is going to be 256. Half of 256 is 1. I'm sorry, what? 0.95. Y'all are learning. You're getting louder and you're more good. Thank you. Now, 271.8 plus 1.5 times 256.5. Somebody give me that number. 913.25. So, is 914 an outlier? Yes. Is 915 an outlier? Yes. Anything above 913.05 is an outlier. And that's what they're going to ask you. So, is blah, blah, blah an outlier? Yes. So let me close this and...
Wasn't it supposed to be Q3 on the second one instead of Q1?
Probably.
Like you put 270.
Hold on, let me look. Okay, sorry. Which one?
So the second one should have been 528.3.
Thank you. Where did I mess up? 278 or 256?
278 on the left.
Okay, right here is supposed to be what?
528.
528.3. Thank you. 528.3. 528.3. 528.3 plus this.
Yeah.
And what does it come out to be?
That's the right answer you just found.
Oh, okay. All right. Make sure you make that note. I did Q sub 1 and thought, you never ever do this. I mean, honestly. Like I said, if it wasn't for the standardized test, I wouldn't even go over it. Okay? So the lower fence right here is negative 112.95. It says rounded 2 decimals, so that would be negative 112.95. And this would be 913.05. And we're well done. Would that be an outlier? Yes. Should be greater than the upper fence, which by the empirical rule it would be unusual probably. But anyway, do you believe that the distribution of violent crime rates is skewed or symmetric? Well, it's hard to tell because you don't have all the data, but you can look at this, 271, 388, you'd have to plot those, but I would say it's, I don't know. Got negative 112. You have to draw these out and actually look at them, but I would, let's just pick one because, let's just say C. I think it's C. Nope. Which one is it? It's skewed right. And I don't know how you would tell that without with the information given. Somebody tell me what, okay, do this right quick. Somebody take 388 minus 272.
116.
Huh? And then take 528 minus 388. What do you get?
139.8.
Okay, what'd you get on the first one?
116.
Okay, yeah. That's about the only way you can tell. Is the number on this side, if you subtract these numbers, think of it as heavier. Okay? And it's heavier, that's why it's coming out like that. It's coming out skewed right. This is lighter on this side. That's the only way let's see what the directions tell you. I've never done that question before. That's a new question. I've never seen that before. It'd have to be subtraction. Yeah, they're subtracting. That's what I thought they were doing. Yep. They're subtracting Q2 from Q1 and Q2. Yeah. That's the only way you can pretty much tell. All right. Quite a bit different than that from Q1 and Q, so that way it's skewed right. So just play with that one. As far as the question, what is a test question? This is not a test question. I'll tell you what a test question is when we get to it. But that's not, can't believe I just did that. Okay, that's this one, so this one's next. A graph. The following graph is an ogive of a standardized test score. The vertical axis is in the ogive is the cumulative relative frequency. Cumulative relative frequency, that means a percentage. And can also be interpreted as a percentile. Complete parts A through C, well, at least not A through Z. All right, like some of these questions are. Find and interpret the percentile rank of blah, blah, blah. A test score of 150. Wait a minute. Where is it? I'm sorry, what? Okay, thank you. You got to click on it. I think it gives you the scores when you click on it. Well, they wasn't there before. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Duh. All right, so 150. 150 is right here. I'm sorry, what? Yep, 50th percentile. So you type in the 50th right here. Test scores are, well, less than. That's the way you read it. You could say greater than, but see, could be greater than, could be both. Well, less than or equal to, I'm sorry. Less than or equal to because they're including it. 150 or less. I'm sorry. Okay, test score is 170. 170 is going to be what? Dang old 90th percentile, which means 90 below is going to be below 170 or below. Okay? The 10th percentile, well, they got to read it backwards now. Okay, let's see. Yeah. The 10th percentile, you got to do backwards. You got to come down here. There's the 10th percentile right there. The 10th percentile is going to hit right on what test score? 130. So that's just reading the graph and being able to punch in numbers, which I can't do. Dang old stupid computer. Russians. All right, and that's it. That should be it. Okay. The company data represents miles per gallon of a randomly selected. I think I've just done y'all's homework for 3.4, haven't I?
It was great.
Now I'm going to give y'all twice as many questions now. The company data represents miles per gallon, a random sample, blah, 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 3-cylinder, 1 liter engine. Compute the z-score corresponding to the individual who obtained 49.2 miles per gallon. Interpret the result. Determine the quartiles. Okay, so let's see what this is. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to send this to the dadgum. I have no idea what we're looking for, but it looks like to me you're finding the 5-number summary. So I'm going to take it to the Excel spreadsheet. And once I get it there, I want you to copy it down and see what you can come up with the interquartile range. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put them in order for you. That way you don't have to take all that time to do that. So, move this out of the way. Data. There. All right, I can't make it. I can make it a little bit smaller, but you ain't going to be able to see it. 49.2. Let me just go back to the question. Y'all can write it down. There you go. So write them down, and then we'll put them in order, and then you can write them in order. They're in order right there if you want to write them right there, and then I'll move it down. Or you can just type them right there, either one. Are they already in order?
Yeah, they're in order.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. So I want you to find the 5-number summary, and I want you to draw a box plot. I care less about the inner, but go ahead and find the upper fence and the lower fence, since that's what they're asking for. Okay, I'm going to get out of this and I'm going to go to spreadsheet. And I'm going to put over here min equals, I'm going to put first, second, third, and max. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and that's equal to this number. And this is equal to this number. Now we have 24 numbers, right? Okay, what's 24? That's an odd amount, right? I mean, even amount. So that means I got to find the two middle numbers. So the two middle numbers are going to be 12 and what? 13, Hubert. That's right, class. Thank you for the interaction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I had to screw that up, didn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 13. So there's my two numbers. So I'm going to highlight them yellow, yellow, and then I'm going to say equals, parentheses, this guy plus this guy divided by what? 2. Make sure you put a dot right here because how many, if that's number, if this is right, how many are above it? 12, right? And how many are below it? Should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So I've got to find what? 6 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 7 are right there. So I'm going to highlight those. Dang old per day. Per day. Equals, parentheses, guy plus this guy divided by what? Divided by 2, Hubert. That's right, class. And then up here, we got to find, let's see, here's our number right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 and 7 right there. Highlight that. Blue. And that's going to be equal to this number plus this number divided by 2. All right, there's your 5-number summary. Let's go ahead and find those stupid quartile ranges things, whatever those are. What's the interquartile range? Q3 minus Q1, right? Interquartile range is equal to Q3 minus what? Q1. And then that dang old, the upper fence or whatever, lower fence is equal to, somebody tell me, is it the first quartile range minus 1.5 times the interquartile range? So that's going to be equal to first quartile minus parentheses this number times 1.5, right?
Yes.
All right, check my number. Lower fence, I got 30.9. Upper fence is going to be the third quartile, which will be equal to the third quartile, make sure I get it right, plus 1.5 times the interquartile range. Y'all check me. Okay, now I'm going to draw the 5-number summary, and then I don't know what the question's going to ask, but we're going to find out whatever we can find out using that interquartile range. So I'm going to take my handy dandy number line. I'm going to put 32. I'm going to put 33 down here because I'm not dealing with no decimals up here. Y'all want to do it with your calculator? Good, that's fine. I'm not doing it. 33 plus 50 is 83. Half of 83. Thank you. 42 is good enough for government work. 42. 33 plus 42 is 75. Half of 74 is 37, right? 38, if that's good. 42 to 50, that's 92, right? Half of 92 is 45, 46, thank you. Now you can get it down, 33, 38, that's 5. Half of 5 is 2.5, so that's 33.5, or 35, that's good enough. 38 to 42, that's 4, that'd be 40. 42 to 46 is 4, half of 44. 46 to 50 is 4, is 48. Now remember, the middle is what? Middle is 42, so you're going to use that to judge by. All right? 37. 37 is right in here. Okay? 41. Right? 41 is, uh-oh. What's the problem, people? We ain't even finished yet. What's the problem? It looks like most of your data is on the left-hand side, which means it's going to be skewed what? Right. Skewed right. Where is the middle? I mean, your median. Your median is 39. Where is that middle? Where's this supposed to be? It's supposed to be right there, but it ain't. So that means that your curve looks like this. So that means it's skewed right. So you need to write that down. Because I don't know what they're going to ask. Okay? So write that down. Write down what I just wrote down in a box plot, skewed right. Write all that down. What else can you tell me? Well, anything above 40, what? 7, 46.9 is going to be what? An outlier. Okay? Or anything below what? 30.9 is going to be what? An outlier. So let's see what the question is going to ask now that y'all wrote all that down, because I'm not going to see it. So let me go up here and hit. Oh my. Times class over 220. 230. Okay, I've heard 230 and 220. Which one is it?
It's 230.
Okay. I got to go pick up my kids, so DSS don't come and get me. So I can't work the freaking computer right now. Hold on. All right. So what question are we on? The last one or 11?
12.
12? There it is. Stay on page. Did it change numbers?
Click on the data.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me if it changed numbers. Okay, good. All right, done. Now what is this going to ask? Z-score corresponding to the individual who obtained 49. Okay, they want you to Z-score. So go ahead and type in the Z-score. 49.2. What's the mean? We got to find the mean. Oh, crap. Hold on. Let's go find the mean. And we're going to have to find the standard deviation too, because they're asking for the Z-score. So mean is equal to, and I'll find it. So mean is going to be the summation of all these guys divided by, how many did we say it was? 24. And I'm going to skip some steps here. So y'all just be there. Enter. Divided by 24. Okay, there's the mean. So I'm going to take x minus, so equals this minus this, F4, copy down. Equals this, raised to the second power. enter. Take this down. That's that. Take that number, add it, enter. Variance, let's see. Variance equal to this number divided by 23. And then standard deviation is going to be equal to this number raised to the 0.5 power. And just as a check, standard deviation check, make sure I didn't get a mistake somewhere. Of course not. Got it right. All right, now let's find our z-score for what? What did they say find it for? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Was it 49.2? Somebody remember?
Yes.
All right, 49.2 minus what?
38.
Minus this guy right here. Minus this guy right here, close parentheses, divided by standard deviation. Hold on a second. I'm chewing bubble gum and walking at the same kind of time. Can't even freaking talk. All right, there we go. All right, so there's the z-score, 2.91. Write that down. That's for 49.2. So we go back to the question. I didn't even know it asked for a z-score. So let me erase this. The corresponding z-score, what did I say it was? 2.91 indicates that the value is 2.91 standard deviations above the what? Mean. And you feel good about yourself. Determine the quartiles. What was our first quartile? 30 what? 36.9. Wait a minute. 36.9. What's the second quartile? 38.7. Okay, 38.65. Picky bitch. 0.65. And what was third quartile? 40.9. Now what are they going to ask? Compute to interpret the interquartile range. Okay, somebody tell me what we said the interquartile range was. All right, which one is it? I'm looking right here. Isn't it there? How much was it? Determine the lower and upper fences. I told you it was going to ask that. Lower fence? 30.9. Okay, now it's not. Okay, 30.9. What was the upper? 46.9. Are there any outliers? Okay, we'll go back to the table. What was our lowest? Our lowest was 30.9. Any below 30.9? No. 46.9. Any above 46.9? 1. Yes. And are there any outliers? Yes. 49.2. Okay, I just did y'all's homework for y'all on 3.4. If you can't do your homework for 3.4 tonight, don't what? Don't tell anybody because I just did it for you. Okay? All right, so work on 3.4. That means y'all will come back when? Y'all come back Thursday. And we'll finish 3.5. Oh my gosh, you were finishing 3.5? What does that mean? That means test is going to be next week. So, we'll learn more about it Thursday. See y'all Thursday. Have a good day. Keep between pitches. I didn't take a roll, but 2 weeks is over anyway. I'll just say all of y'all work today. Only have one missing it easily. What was wrong with Miss Show? Was she in the ditch drunk somewhere or what? She wasn't there today. She's going to have to get off that stump whiskey when she gets back, all right? See ya.